In this video, we'll use Excel to work with a quadratic revenue function. The problem reads as follows. The demand equation for a certain product is given by the equation P equals 138 minus 0.065x. In this case, P is the price per item and X is the number of items sold. Part A asks us to first find a formula for the revenue function R of X. First, we need to recall that revenue is always equal to price per item times the number of items sold. In this case, we've been told price per item is the variable P, which is given by this equation, P equals 138 minus 0.065x. So price per item is 138 minus 0.065x. And in this problem, we've been told that number of items sold is X. So I'm replacing price per item with the expression 138 minus 0.065x, and I'm replacing number of items sold with X. So now we have a function R of X, where R of X is equal to 138x minus 0.065x squared. Notice I just distributed that x there. We could also rewrite it in the opposite order using the commutative property. So it would be negative 0.065x squared plus 138x. So this is a quadratic function. I know it's quadratic because it has the form ax squared plus bx plus c, where c is 0. We notice that the leading coefficient is negative, which tells me that the graph of this parabola will be open down. So part B is now asking us to use Excel to find the price they should charge to achieve the highest revenue. So it makes sense that we have this open down parabola for this question. The highest revenue should be the vertex of this parabola. So we're going to use Excel to help us with this. I've already started an input-output table on the left. We're going to input X, where X is the number of items sold. Notice my input-output table labels both the variable X and the meaning of that variable, items sold. And it's going to first output P, price per item, and in column B, I put that original equation, 138 minus 0.065 times the X value. So this is telling us the price per item. And now I'm going to input into Excel our revenue function, which we know is negative 0.065x squared plus 138x. So I type that formula in Excel. I'm making sure that my X values are coming from column A, because that's where the X values are. Drag my formula down. Now, which input value should we use for X? The very lowest value of X that makes sense in context is 0, because the smallest number of items they can sell is 0 items. I took this up to about 2,200, and the reason I did that is because if you look at the price per item values that are coming from the formula 138 minus 0.065x, you'll find that those values are, of course, going down because the slope of that line is negative, but the price per item values become negative in this zone down here. We could find that value exactly if we like, but I notice at X equals 2,000, we have a price per item of $8 per item, but when you get up to 2,200, suddenly the price per item is negative, which doesn't make sense anymore. So somewhere between 2,000 and 2,200, this is no longer going to make sense anymore. So that's high enough. I'll stop there. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and create a graph of this revenue function. I highlight the values in column A, and I hold down the control button and highlight the values in column C, and I insert a smooth line graph. Here's my revenue function. I'm going to add labels on each axis. The horizontal input axis is X, which it represents the number of items sold. The vertical axis represents R of X, revenue earned in dollars. And there is our open down parabola. we're seeking the vertex of this parabola. It looks to me to be a little bit after 1,000 in the graph. And if you look at the table, that makes sense. It's somewhere around cell C7 where we have the highest value of the revenue in this table. I'm going to use Solver's maximum feature to find the actual maximum according to Excel. Okay, so I put my cursor in cell C7, which has the highest Y value in this table. I go to Data, Solver, and in the Set Objective cell, I have the cell C7, which is closest to the highest Y value. I want it to be maximum by changing the X value cell. So I clicked on cell A7. I hit Solve. It changes row 7, where it says that if you input 1061.5385, you'll get a R value of 73,246.15385. So remember, X represents number of items sold, and the Y value represents the revenue. The highest revenue they can make is $73,246.15, and that happens when selling 1,062 items at a price of $69 per item. Notice I got that $69 per item from column B, which is giving us the price per item.